Ready to tip it off for Game 4. It has been Groundhog Day with Bill Murray in every game in this series. The opening tip, Shaq has prematurely jumped, and believe it or not, do we have it again? We have an immediate whistle. For the 4th time in a row, Shaquille goes up early, and the Pistons inbound. It is. It's February 2nd.
It's amazing. It's almost like he's doing it on purpose, Al. He just waits and gets it before. You have to wait for the ball to get to its apex before you can touch the ball.
All 4 games begin in the exact fashion. Chauncey Billups outside. Gary Payton starts on him at the outset of the game. The Piston regulars have dominated the LA starters. Starter against starter through this series. Detroit has been dominant from the outside. The first shot of the game doesn't go. The follow doesn't go as Hamilton misses and Rasheed Wallace missed the putback. Now Kobe Bryant for the Lakers.
But the game starts off like the series has been. A wide open shot for Rip Hamilton and an offensive rebound from the Detroit Pistons already.
Hamilton alone in this series has 11 offensive rebounds. He's the leading offensive rebounder, a guard, in this series. Extremely unusual. 14 on the clock as the Lakers will inbound. Devin George to send it in. Payton. 10 on the timer. George outside. Guarded by Hamilton. Bryant with 3 seconds on the shot clock. This is the Lakers' first effort of the night, but Payton is there to collect it underneath. Malone tried to get it into Shaq and then gets it back. Hits Bryant for the fadeaway. In and out. Rebound to Rasheed Wallace. Neither team scoring in the opening minute of Game 4. Prince outside, and Prince has done a marvelous job in this series, especially defensively. And the foul here is on Devin George for the first foul of the game on the Lakers.
And one of the things that Phil Jackson was talking about coming into this game is they couldn't get in foul trouble early because that's what makes them become passive defensively.
And he even talked about that yesterday. Phil does a lot of work on the off days in terms of saying things that he knows the officials will read as the Lakers come up with the steal, and Gary Payton comes into the front court with George. Through the lane, spinning, misses the layup. And then a whistle underneath, and they're going to call another foul on George. So quickly, 2 fouls in a minute and a half, and Phil Jackson is compelled to go immediately to the bench, and he sends in the recently seldomly used Rick Fox to replace George.
Which is interesting. I think in a game like this, Phil Jackson is going to trust the guys that he's been here before with.
The officials are Dick Bavetta, Jack Neese, and Eddie Rush. And for Laker fans, that gives them pause as Billups misses it. Prince gets the offensive board and scores the first points of the game. In the 6th game of the playoffs with Minnesota in the conference championship round, Bavetta and Rush were 2 of the officials. Ken Maurer was the other, and that was the night Bryant had to come out early with 3 fouls as Kobe drives and puts it in left-handed, and O'Neal had 4 fouls at the half, and I've never seen a Los Angeles crowd that crazy at halftime. Here's Prince from the outside. O'Neal with a rebound.
Well, one of the things the Lakers want to do in this game is run. And the only way they're going to be able to run, they have to get stops defensively, get long rebounds, and push the ball up the floor.
Inside to O'Neal, and Shaq with a jam. So the Lakers, who did not lead at all on Thursday night, are up by 2.
Well, you can see Shaq, first time touching it, every time down, they've looked to get the ball to Shaquille O'Neal. They want to force Detroit at some point in this game to go double coverage to free up the other guys.
Hamilton gets space after he was initially covered by Bryant perfectly, puts it in to tie the game. I think force feed Shaq might be applicable tonight.
Yeah, you're going to see it over and over. And they're forcing it in there for 2 reasons. 1, to get points, but 2, they're trying to get Detroit to play double teams on Shaq so they can free up the other guys. That's one of the reasons the others haven't been able to score.
Bryant comes back, and they triple him, and he loses the ball. Ben Wallace comes away with it. Kobe will draw a crowd. Hamilton has it deflected by the quick hands of Fox, but gets it back. Now Rasheed Wallace, who's been in foul trouble in all of the games. misses here. It's tapped out. Offensive board. Wallace puts it up, doesn't score, but gets fouled. And the Pistons just dominated the offensive glass in all 4 games.
Well, here they go again. That's the 3rd offensive rebound already in this game and the 3rd foul.
Wallace to the line. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, I spoke with Derek Fisher earlier. He was one of the 5 Laker veterans who got with Phil Jackson on Friday and said, let us start. It was Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, Shaquille O'Neal, Devin George, and Kobe Bryant. They felt they could bring the expertise of the triangle offense and the experience of past NBA Finals to this game tonight. Fisher told me we didn't want our championship hopes to slip away, but Fisher also expected Phil would not make such a radical change. He would stick with what got him here.
Well, Phil's just got a technical foul, so that sent Phillips to the free throw line where he's been near perfect. It's 5-4 Detroit, and now Wallace will shoot his 2.
And Al, I'm going to say this. This is an NBA Finals game. Phil Jackson can complain to the officials, and they're going to have to turn the other cheek on that. In my opinion, I think that's much too quick to give a coach a technical foul this early in the game for complaining about one call. And he's going to complain all game.
Well, Phil was working the press about not getting the same calls that Detroit was getting, about not being able to play aggressive defensively. George picks up the 2 fouls. Then Phil gets a technical. Detroit is up by 2. And the Lakers get it into O'Neal. And again, the jam. So 2 jams by O'Neal. 4 of the Lakers' first 6 points.
Well, you can see where the Lakers are going. And there really is no stopping Shaq if he gets deep. That's the 2nd time now that Shaq has gotten the ball deep.
Here's Hamilton. O'Neal with a rebound. And the word comes to us that Phil Jackson went over the line as a designated area, and that's why they teed him up.
Yeah, he did, but I think coaches do that all the time, to be honest. And you have a choice as an official. It's not an automatic tech.
O'Neal, and you can tell, I mean, that's going to be the Laker plan, at least at the outset tonight, go to 34.
It's a good plan now because, again, they need the points, number 1, but they're trying to force a double team. Larry Brown said it today that so far they haven't had to double team anyone on the Laker basketball team.
And I think Larry was as shocked as anybody as Phillips has retired today. Larry coming into the game, his biggest fear was that O'Neal would dominate games in the manner that he has played in the first few minutes of this one. And here's a foul on Hamilton, reaching in on Rick Fox. The Lakers inbound with 18 on the 24. Again, Malone hurt. We talked about Carl through the series and the pregame show as well, playing at about maybe 70%. Fox has been hurt a good part of the year. A good array of injuries. And Gary Payton finally scores in the first quarter.
Why? Because double team. You see, on that possession, Larry Brown decided to double team for the first time in this series, and that's the first time in this series that Gary Payton has scored in the first quarter.
Crowd chanting Sheed, and the foul here will be on the Lakers. Gary has been an invisible man through much of the first 3 games, but he's proven from time to time during the playoffs he can break it out as Wallace gets by Malone and scores.
I think that's something that Larry Brown would like to see more of from Rasheed Wallace. Instead of looking for the jump shots, you know Karl Malone is not healthy. I think he wants to exhaust the post down there with him.
And here's Fox working underneath and getting by Hamilton. So Fox, who replaced Devin George, who picked up those 2 fouls in the first minute and a half, scores his first basket of the game.
Well, they're going to try to make a switch. You know, I think what the Lakers did there, they put Rick Fox on the post. They're going to try to make Rip Hamilton guard Kobe Bryant. If not, they're going to keep posting up Fox.
Phillips got free. Chauncey Billups right now would be a primary candidate for MVP of the finals. Bryant, short. Wallace gets the rebound. He might have just gotten another vote.
Boy.
Billups had 22 in game 1, 27 in game 2, 19 in game 3, 7 already tonight.
And that's something you didn't see 5 years ago, is a guy blowing by Gary Payton.
Shaquille gets it.
No double team again. You know, Larry Brown does not like to double team. He double teams and one time gives up a layup. It'll be interesting what they do now with Shaq, because right now he's having his way.
Shaq comes out to help on Billups, and he dropped it out of bounds. When Billups has been facing Gary Payton head-to-head, and they're starters, so they see each other in the first quarter and in the third quarter and other times in between, Billups has outscored Gary Payton 60-12.
Yeah, that's hard. And, you know, obviously the minutes have something to do with it. And Billups is a featured player. But bottom line, when you give up that much, that discrepancy is huge, and it's tough to overcome at any position.
Payton gets three. Misses a three. Rasheed Wallace skies for the rebound. Beautiful pass up ahead to Billups. Bounces it into Ben Wallace. Ben's going to work on Shaq.
You know, the tough part for Ben Wallace is that he makes a move or a pump fake like he's going to shoot a jump shot. Usually the defender doesn't react because that's what they want him to do.
Sure. Hamilton back to Wallace. And he gets hammered on his way to the hoop. That's O'Neal's first foul.
Yeah, and again, the thing that has hurt the Lakers throughout this series is the pick and roll, and there is another case of it. And it's not necessarily the guy coming off. It's most of the time the rollers that have hurt the Lakers in this series.
Wallace at the line. The Lakers now have 5 team fouls over the limit. Here's Stuart Scott.
Now, Ben Wallace is sporting the fro for the second straight night. I say, yo, dog, what's up with the afro? He said, I can wear the afro at home. I got to go with the braids on the road. I said, why? He said, because on the road, the fans just like to do a whole lot of jokey jokes. I said, like what? He said, well, I get a whole lot of buckwheat this, buckwheat that. And then some fans say, yo, Ben, you make all that money. You can't afford a $10 haircut. And I said to him, Ben, you got to admit that's funny, right? He said, yeah, it's funny, man, but I'm on the road. I can't be laughing at their jokes. Al?
We'll see what he wears if there is a 6th game. Right now, a lane violation on the Lakers. So Wallace, after missing the second, will get another attempt.
3 to make 2.
In effect.
The old days. I missed that era.
And that does make a difference. Pistons up by 2, 4:40 to go. Opening period. Shaquille O'Neal leading Chauncey Billups, leading Detroit in scoring. He has 7. Bryant, who earlier was shaking his right hand a little bit. Here's Fox. Payton will drive, softly puts it up. The Pistons are contending it was in the cylinder and it shouldn't count. O'Neal went up and jams it through after it looked like it might have been going down anyway. And Larry Brown says, how can you not make that call?
All I'm going to tell you is this. This was not a pass. Now, Shaq caught it over the cylinder. He may have caught it before. It's a tough call for me to see. But I guarantee you that was not a pass. Gary Payton was absolutely shooting the ball.
No question. And from this angle, it looked like it would have gone in softly. Billups works it into the corner. Prince will put it up. And there's Hamilton with another offensive rebound. He's perfectly positioned on those shots from the other corner. He's been doing that for 4 games. Billups backs it out. And now Rick Fox is there to commit the foul. Trying to fight his way through the screen. Phil Jackson in consultation with Frank Hamblin. And there are the offensive rebounds in this series. Hamilton at 6'6", leading everybody.
And you look at 2 of the guys of the 3 on there. Combined, they don't weigh as much as Shaq. Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton, yet they are hitting the boards. And usually what that means is that the bigs are boxing out and the guards are going to get the rebounds.
Now Devin George is going to come back in and Rick Fox goes out. Billups at the line in this series has missed only 1 free throw attempt. He had 25 coming into this game, so he's been magnificent. Derek Fisher has also come into the game now for the Lakers.
And now so far, the theme has been the same. Foul trouble, penalty for the Lakers early, and offensive rebounds. The difference is in this game, the Lakers are scoring because of Shaq.
O'Neal goes up in the air to get the rebound, gets fouled by Wallace. And, of course, the other thing is the premature jump ball by O'Neal in every game. And on the Piston end, it's been Rasheed Wallace getting into foul trouble.
It's like football. At least just flip a coin, and right now, every time the Pistons have called heads, and it's come up heads.
A lot of fouls to give. Looking at the Piston bench, they have 4 guys who can guard him. Very similar to the case against the Timberwolves in that series. But not that they needed them. I mean, through this, the other night, Shaquille didn't even get to the free throw line until the 4th quarter.
I think that's been one of the more interesting things in this series. We thought that they would use all those fouls. They really haven't had to, and they haven't done it. They've done it with single coverage, which is a pretty amazing guarding Shaquille O'Neal. And
O'Neal is the guy you want at the free throw line if you're the Pistons. Misses both there. Detroit up by 2. Billups all the way. A little hard on the layup. And O'Neal with the rebound. 3 minutes to go in the period. Payton will go all the way, and Gary puts it in. So Payton, scoreless in the first quarters of the 3 games thus far, has 4 points tonight.
Boy, Gary Payton is aggressive tonight, and I think that's the difference. He's finding a way to penetrate and drive the lane. That's old vintage Gary Payton.
Hamilton. Wallace taps the rebound. Only Lakers are there, but it's off the Lakers. Detroit will maintain possession. Rasheed, of course, is a, well, he's sort of a barber. I don't know that he's licensed, but he'll cut your hair.
I don't know. I look at his, I don't think I'm going.
Elvin Campbell comes into the game. Here's Prince. O'Neal gets the rebound. Now for the Lakers, Kobe Bryant is off to a cold start. Bryant is 1 out of 5, 2 points. O'Neal has 10, Payton has 4. Here's Bryant. His 6th attempt, misses again. So 5 misses out of 6 shots.
And most have been contested, though I thought his first 2 looks were pretty good looks.
Inside to Rasheed Wallace.
Al, every time Rasheed Wallace goes down low to the post, he scores. He's done it twice tonight. He has scored both times. With Karl Malone unable to move, for the most part, he's just going to reach. Karl Malone has great hands. Rasheed Wallace knows that. He's doing a great job of protecting the ball. And once he gets it up, it's nothing Karl Malone can do.
First foul on Malone. 3-point play. Cashed in. Detroit leads by 3. Wallace in foul trouble in the first 3 games in the series. Doesn't have one tonight. In fact, the Pistons have only 2, and the Lakers have 7. Malone. Payton. Little spin move. Left-handed. 12-footer. He puts it in.
Gary Payton is the only other guy besides Shaq and Kobe who can create his own points, and he's doing it this evening.
Lakers had no 20-point quarters in Game 3. They're already at 20 right now with a minute and a half to play. Malone trying to body Wallace. Prince is there for the rebound. Pistons working so hard on the offensive glass in the series.
That has to be at least their 5th second shot in the first quarter.
They have 5 offensive rebounds. Lindsey Hunter. Shot clock at 5. Hunter dishes it to Campbell. Throws up an air ball, and that'll be a 24-second violation. So the Lakers take it in, down by a point with 62 seconds remaining. Larry Brown, who won an NCAA championship at Kansas in '88. Danny Manning was a star, trying to become the first coach to win titles in both college and the NBA. Phil Jackson on the other bench, of course, trying to win his 10th title. Malone takes it from O'Neal and hits, so Shaq gets the assist. Malone, with his first 2 points, gives the Lakers the lead.
Every time you spy on Shaq, they've done it twice, he has found guys. Shaq is such a great passer.
Wallace tried to get it inside. It was tipped away by Malone and out of bounds. 11 on the shot clock.
We noticed that it's not that loud in this arena. You can feel the pressure in this arena this evening.
The other night, it was crazy before the game. That's what Mason will do for you at the PA mic, of course. You start out hot, and then the Pistons led 8-0, and they stayed hot the whole game and never trailed. There is a little tension, though, tonight. You would figure, very pivotal game. Wallace for 3, and that's another air ball. And the Lakers will inbound and try to milk the clock here with 25.1.
You know, sometimes fans can feel it also. They know that this is a big game for not only the Lakers, but this is a big game for the Pistons. They would love the opportunity to close it out here in Detroit. They know that this is the game that the Lakers are going to give them their best blow.
Larry Brown goes for defense. Darvin Ham and Mike James come in. Phil Jackson makes the offensive substitution here. Kareem Rush, good three-point shooter. The Lakers trying to take the clock down as far as they can. There's a 2.2-second differential right now. And now Rasheed Wallace comes out and Chauncey Billups comes back in to finish the quarter.
Well, when you look on the floor for the Lakers, Phil Jackson put on the floor 4 guards and Shaq. So he wants to spread the floor, get to Shaq, and dare Detroit to help. If they help, they're going to look for a three-point shot.
Bryant outside. Bryant starts in, and a whistle here. There's a foul to give, and they give it. Foul is on Darvin Ham, so 10 seconds remaining. That's the first in the last 2 minutes, and no free throw.
Smart
and the Lakers
move.
inbound.
Smart move by Kobe. He knew they had a foul to give, so he went early, so they had to commit it. Now they have 10 seconds to work it and try to get a good shot.
Bryant. Kobe dishes it off to the corner. Payton puts it up and misses the last shot of the period. Well, Doc, that's not bad.
No, that sounds like us.
In some places, that can win an
Patuloy
Emmy.
ang NBA Madness in Motown. Game number 4 ng 2004 NBA Finals at nasa second quarter na tayo para sa IBC and Solar Sports coverage ng NBA Finals. Ako po si Vito Lazzatina alongside the Dean Quinito Henson. Quinito, balikan muna natin ng sandali ang Game 1. Los Angeles Lakers, we predicted that they would come back in a big way dito sa Game 4, and they have in the first quarter.
I think so, no? This is the most points that the Lakers have scored in any first quarter in the series so far. Naka 22 points na sila. Ngayon, meron na silang 24, no? 22 points, the highest they have scored in any first quarter. Bakit? Because in the previous 3 games, they have been held to less than 20 points in those first quarters. So, looks like the Lakers are moving the ball very well. Meron na silang 10 assists in this game. And Detroit only with 2. At yan.
Ayan, ito po yung posisyon namin.
Screen tayo.
Upstairs, dito sa Palace at Auburn Hills. Siyempre, representing the Philippines. Ay kami po yung isa.
Doc, they dealt with everything but the point spread.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I mean,
Making predictions, doing the whole thing here.
yeah, you can understand a half of it.
Sure.
Sounds like us.
Meanwhile, Shaq scored. Right. We're about 30%. Lindsey Hunter. O'Neal high for the rebound, but Campbell is right there with him. The ball is out of bounds to Detroit.
Yeah, off of Shaq's head.
One disadvantage of being the taller guy.
Yeah, that's one of the few.
Lakers by 3 early second quarter. Knocked out of bounds by Fisher.
Tell you, one thing you can see already in this game is that the Laker defense is pretty good. It's very active. The question is, and Phil Jackson wants to know the answer too, can they do it for 48 minutes? They've proven that they could do it for 6 and 7 and 8 minutes.
Corliss Williamson inbounded. He makes his first appearance. Former 6th man of the year. Campbell now has the ball. Former Laker. He's short on that shot. Fisher gets the rebound. Kareem Rush starting the second quarter for LA. Now Bryant, cold in the first 12 minutes. Into Shaq. Guarded by Campbell. Bank doesn't go. Rasheed Wallace clears the glass. Medvedenko in the game for LA. And a whistle here. And the foul called on Bryant.
And again, they got this matchup in game 2 or game 3, and it really hurt the Lakers. That's the Corliss Williamson and Kobe Bryant matchup. Tough matchup for Kobe Bryant.
Bryant's first. Fisher guarding Billups inside now. Williamson, he's short, and O'Neal gets the rebound. Shaquille O'Neal has 6 rebounds now. Shaq's going to drive to the basket and gets fouled on his way.
You know, it's rare that Shaq goes quick, but when he goes quick, it's amazing, first of all, how quick he is, and it's also amazing how quickly people get out of his way.
I'm just thinking the same thing. When he turns and starts in like that, I mean, who's going to stop him? Foul on Wallace Rasheed, that's his first.
Look at this quick move, and all of a sudden the ocean opens because they see the big Shaq rumbling.
O'Neal hitting 60% in the playoffs. Under 50 for the regular season, makes the first. Here's Michelle.
Well, guys, I spoke to Shaquille O'Neal earlier about his love of rest. He's a much more productive player after 2 or more days off than he is after just 1, to the tune of about 6.5 points a game. He put it to me this way. He said, if you hack away at a tree and keep hacking, it'll eventually fall. But if you give it some rest, it'll work with the sun and nature to rejuvenate. And Al, I think he's rejuvenated, but he's going to continue to get hacked all night, isn't he?
The big Aristotle, he shouldn't be talking about hacking anything.
No, he shouldn't.
He makes 1 of 2. He was hitting 60% in the finals, much less than that in the playoffs. And the foul here as Rasheed Wallace goes up. And the foul on Slava Medvedenko.
Well,
alone on the bench here at the beginning of the second period.
And what's different is Rasheed Wallace is not on the bench. You know, he's basically has played this entire first half. This is the first game in the finals so far that he's been allowed to play. Usually he's in foul trouble. Also, Rasheed Wallace is going down to the post, Al, and doing a great job. He really, right now, is their only scorer.
The only time Rasheed Wallace has played in the second quarter, a total of 12 seconds, as Ben Wallace comes back into the game and Campbell goes out. The only time Rasheed's been in the second quarter was at the end of the half in one of the games when Larry Brown put him in a special situation with just 12 seconds on the clock. (25-23). Lakers by 2, 9:45. The guys on the floor right now, it's been all Shaquille. Inside now you've got Rasheed Wallace guarding O'Neal. Bryant off balance. Kobe can't get anything to drop. With Rasheed Wallace guarding O'Neal, of course, you got to watch carefully for that second foul as Billups is in and out. And O'Neal continues to be dominant on the boards.
And one of the things Larry Brown does not want is quick shots. And the reason he doesn't want it, unless it's quick good shots, is because he wants to limit the possessions of the Lakers.
Phil Jackson didn't like that quick shot by his club right there. Ben Wallace guarded by Medvedenko. And as he tries to make a move on him, Luke Walton makes his first appearance. Comes in off the Laker bench. Luke Walton, the key figure in the Game 2 comeback. Of course, the key figure at the end was Bryant. And the Pistons turn it over. Gary Payton on the floor with Fisher outside, which moves Bryant to the small forward spot. Walton, Fisher outside, passes up the 3, settles for the 2-point attempt, gets in too far, gets it back. Foul underneath. Loose ball on Fisher.
Now, Al, look, penalty situation with 8:27 left in the second quarter. This is exactly what the Lakers didn't want, because now they don't have to play great defense. They can still put people on the line, and this is not what the Lakers wanted this early.
Doc, one of the stunning things in this series is you thought the Pistons would have by far more fouls because of trying to take care of O'Neal. It's been the reverse. Hamilton at the line. You can log on to the NBA store at NBA.com. A lot of good stuff right there at NBA.com.
Well, going into this game, the Pistons have shot 35 more free throws than the Lakers. During the regular season, the Lakers led the league in free throw attempts. So that tells you what's going on in the change. Now, there's no conspiracy here. I'm going to tell you why, because Detroit is driving the ball to the basket, and the Lakers, for the most part, minus Shaq, have been settling for jump shots.
A jump shot here that hits the side of the glass. The Lakers have committed 92 fouls in this series, and Detroit has committed 60. And the foul as Hunter comes across midcourt. Committed here by Walton, his first.
See, I mean, you look at here, and this is a foul. You can see the trip on Walton right there before Shaq gets there. But the bottom line is now the Lakers have to play a more passive defense because every time they touch, they are giving the Pistons points. They've had a great defensive game up until this point. But from this point on, this next 8 minutes is going to be crucial for the Lakers in this game.
27-25 Detroit, so Detroit erasing the Laker lead up by 2. Full court pressure. Bryant gets it up to Fisher, and he misses it, and O'Neal tries to tap the rebound, and Fisher is there to follow and gets fouled. Great play by Fisher. O'Neal entangled and screaming for a foul and didn't get it. And the little guy got underneath and puts it in. Yeah, the others are giving the Lakers a boost this evening. Derek Fisher missed his first shot because he thought he was going to get fouled and didn't. But Fisher stayed into the play, and now he has a chance for a three-point play. Foul is on Campbell. His first. Fisher converts, and the Lakers take the lead 28-27 with 8 minutes to play in the opening half. The bounce pass into Hunter. He drives, and he gets fouled. So that foul here is on Derek Fisher. They're going to call it. Yeah. They call it on Walton. Otherwise, for a second, it would have been almost disaster for the Lakers. It would have been Fisher's third. It's Walton's second. Well, Hunter makes the first. Fisher had his hands up, looking like he was signaling the foul. And now what he's really doing was telling Luke Walton that was my fault. Fisher tried to gamble, got out of position, got back cut, and now Lindsey Hunter is on the line. Kobe Bryant gets his first rest of the game. Devin George comes back in. Detroit hitting 74% from the line in this series, and 2 there by Hunter, make it a 29-28 Detroit lead. Tonight, the Pistons are 15 of 16 from the foul line. O'Neal off the side of the glass, and then underneath with Wallace battling Payton for it. It's called on the Lakers. And the march back to the free throw line. I mean, it's amazing. Back to the free throw line the Pistons go. The Pistons, for the rest of the quarter, they don't have to make another field goal. Al, they're going to stay in this game because they can keep going to the foul line. And again, they're doing it because they're more aggressive right now, and they're driving to the basket. They're getting fouls because they're attacking the glass. In fact, the Pistons do not have a field goal in the second quarter. All they need is what they've been doing from the line. That's only their second miss. Detroit with 8 points in the period, all from the stripe. Malone on the bench. O'Neal's on the bench. Bryant's on the bench. O'Neal on the floor right now with George, Fisher, Walton, and Payton. Pistons have Campbell with Williamson, Ben Wallace, Hamilton, and Billups. O'Neal gets fed, gets tripled, scores anyway, and he'll go to the free throw line. You know, it's interesting. Shaq, the last 2 times, had decided to go to the jump hook. That time he said the jump hook is not working anymore. I'm going to go with the power move, and that's exactly what he did. When he lowers that shoulder and is able to split, unstoppable. Brian Russell up on the baseline. Rick Fox up. Kobe gets up. Brian Cook as well. 7.5 to play in the second quarter. And we have a lane violation, which will give Shaquille O'Neal another attempt. You know, bad free throw shooters are at the absolute worst when you're trying to time to get in the lane because they don't have a rhythm. Can't make, in effect, the bonus. And to the chime, which resonates throughout this arena, Big Ben Wallace gets the rebound. Williamson, bodied by George. Walton comes over to help, which leaves Campbell alone, and he's short. And Devin George gets the rebound. Walton leaves it outside for George. Payton works to O'Neal, turned around, goes in, and Shaquille O'Neal 17 points in about 17 minutes of action.
And Al, you saw the end of that play, but to get the ball, I have never seen Shaquille O'Neal move that well and that quickly without the ball so he can get the ball.
You know, Michelle made a good point before. As the foul is committed here, foul is on Fisher. That's going to be his third. It's a big difference having 2 days rest and 3 days rest at this part of the season when a guy is 32 years old. The Lakers would also benefit if this goes to a 7th game. The only other time in the series there would be a 2-day rest period would be between 6 and 7.
Yeah, well, they would be happy to get to a 7th game if it was tomorrow. Because right now, they need a win.
Bryant will come back in. Prince comes in, replacing Williamson. Fisher goes to the bench because he's the only guy in the game with 3. Phillips, who has just been magnificent in this series, 10 points already tonight. Makes them both. Pistons are 17 out of 20 from the line. The Lakers are 2 out of 6 from the free throw line. Pistons have 7 field goals and the Lakers have 15, but it's a 1-point game. George fights for room and Billups says, I didn't make that. I didn't commit that, not me.
And Al, this is what we were talking about with Shaquille O'Neal. I don't think I've ever seen him move this well without the ball. Watch him. First he wants the lob, doesn't get it. He keeps moving, fights back, gets his position, then quick move. With Shaq moving like that, it's going to be tough for the Pistons to slow him down.
Ben Wallace swats it away, 9 on the 24. Lindsey Hunter up and down like a jack-in-the-box off that bench. Larry Brown spotting him in certain situations. Billups comes out. Here's Bryant.
Boy, that's a tough shot. That was one of those shots when you're struggling, you haven't touched the ball, you want to get a shot up. That's what that shot was about right there.
Bryant now 1 of 8. Here's Hamilton wearing that face mask to protect the broken nose. And the jam by Rasheed Wallace underneath. Detroit back up on top. Walton drives all the way in and then travels with it.
Yeah, Walton is trying to do a little too much right now. He listened to the big fella. That's what he should do. Shaq knows that this is a big game. And people talk about leadership. That's a form of leadership without saying a word to the rest of his teammates.
Well, Michelle talked about it before at the practice yesterday with O'Neal and Bryant and the 5 guys with 3 rings as Wallace puts one up from the outside, getting together and calling Phil into what he called a dingy men's room, like there's any other kind.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a clean one.
And they had a meeting because they have 5 guys remaining on the team with all 3 rings, and the foul is called here by Dick Vivetta inside.
And Lindsey Hunter was caught. That's why he has a smirk on his face. Veterans have all the tricks. Now watch Lindsey Hunter here. He was grabbing the jersey and he thought he can get away with it. Now the Lakers are in penalty. So now it can even up for the Lakers. They have a chance now to pound it down low and get to the free throw line. It's rare that they're shooting a free throw in this series.
Devin George does not have a point. In fact, has not attempted a free throw, has not attempted a field goal, and now he gets on the board.
And I want to keep making the case, Al, that the reason that the Pistons have gone to the foul line is because they've attacked the basket, and the Lakers, for the most part, have settled for jump shots. The difference in this game, you see the Lakers are starting to drive the ball as well, and they're getting it to Shaq more.
A little blood, and of course that compels George to go over and be checked out by Gary Vitti before he can attempt his second shot. And it's in effect George laughing about whatever, cut lip. No charged timeout here. Beatty's been a busy man. George now makes it 34-33. Several lead changes in this one. The game has been close from the outset. Lakers led by 1 at the quarter break. Wallace throws it all the way into the backcourt and out of bounds, so they'd have lost it in either instance. And Larry Brown looking down the floor. Larry has moved around a lot. It's comical to a lot of people, but he, in a way, he seeks perfection. It's his 10th head job since the early 70s.
Yeah, I played for him. I can tell you, he definitely seeks perfection.
His players, though, love him. Here's Bryant. Got it.
And that, again, was a tough shot, but Kobe Bryant has the talent to pull it off.
So Bryant scores his first points since early in the game when he scored the Lakers' first points on a layup. 10 on the timer. Now 5. Rasheed Wallace. Crowd getting anxious. Ben Wallace is there to tap it, but O'Neal saves it for the Lakers. LA by 3. Here's George, 4-3. And then it hit the 24-second clock above the backboard.
I tell you, right now, the Lakers completely have taken Detroit out of their offense. You can't get any worse offensive possession than the Pistons are having, and that right there is a Kobe Bryant jump shot, which again is well defended, but he's able to make the shot.
A little bit of the Michael Jordan tongue action there. Wallace missing, and Shaquille O'Neal has 10 rebounds to go with his 17 points and 2 assists. Malone has to fight for it, goes all the way in, gets too far underneath, and it's taken away by Rasheed Wallace.
Well, he just had no lift. That's from his knee.
Hamilton. Tapped out of bounds. Detroit retains it.
I mean, right there, Karl Malone had a layup that usually, when he's healthy, he at least comes out of this with the foul. But watch how he can't even get off the ground right now. And that's really difficult for him. And it makes him extremely frustrated, obviously. But you know what? He's actually doing pretty well when he's out on the floor.
Fresh 24 as they'll inbound the ball. Kareem Rush comes in. Devin George goes out. 2 for their last 18 are the Pistons. They're hanging in on the free throw line. Prince. Tapped by Malone into the hands of O'Neal. Bryant with O'Neal creating the screen way outside, and then it's Rasheed Wallace with the block and the takeaway. Quickly to Prince. He's going to drive all the way. Put it in. Count it. Goes to the line.
See, once again, Kobe Bryant drives, gets caught in traffic. Rasheed Wallace makes a great play, and it allows the Pistons to do the one thing they've done offensively throughout this series is attack the basket and go to the foul line.
And it's a big turnaround because the Lakers get a basket as Malone skies it down to Bryant, and it's knocked out of bounds, and the Lakers retain. He's figuring, what is that gone for right here? Bryant misses. Ben Wallace. This is wild in this place.
Oh, my. You like saying that.
I love saying that. Can't get that Wallace. And meanwhile, how about Tolbert wearing the bedspread from his hotel? Here's Wallace. Ben looking for that gong. Instead, he dishes off. Hamilton from the lane. And O'Neal gets the rebound.
Well, it's been like a one-man rebounding machine for the Lakers, and it's all been Shaq. Kobe gets an open look.
Bryant, boy, he's not even close tonight. Ben Wallace, here comes the gong. The Lakers don't want to hear anything that resembles for whom the bell tolls.
No.
37-36, Detroit.
They've gone away from getting the ball to Shaquille O'Neal.
Rush, batted away.
You know, the Lakers go on these spurts where they go 3, 4, 5 minutes without getting the ball to Shaq, and they have to get it to Shaq. And this has been Wallace running the floor. This is one thing that the Pistons feel they can do on rebounds. They think they can beat Shaq back, and that's true.
Rick Fox has come in, fumbles the inbounds pass. There's only 4 on the
He doesn't know
timer,
the clock.
and Fox doesn't know how much is left. Now he does. So Fox came into the game but wasn't aware how much time, and Hunter's going to make him pay. Lindsey Hunter all the way to the basket, and Detroit trying to finish the first half with a rush.
That's a great example. When you come off the bench, you have to know time and score, and that's an uncharacteristic mistake by Rick Fox.
And O'Neal loses the ball, and it's stolen away, and there's no foul, and this is James. And he gets fouled. And they're going to count it because they're going to call it goaltending. So they bring Mike James, seldom used. He comes into the game. Larry Brown loves to mix and match at the end of a quarter, and he does it here, and James gives them a 5-point lead.
James has come in and give them a spark with his quickness.
Malone gives it back to Bryant. Kobe in traffic.
No
Kobe
chance.
has it partially blocked. Malone gets it. Try to get it to O'Neal. Pistons retain possession. James again. Dishes back to Big Ben. He'll get a mini gong. He'll go to the free throw line.
Al, no Shaq means big time Detroit Pistons. Every time they get a long rebound, Mike James is flying down the floor. Here's another one with Kobe Bryant coming in, goaltending the ball. I mean, he's putting so much pressure on the Lakers that it's funny. Every time it's either a bucket, goaltending, or they're going to the foul line.
Wallace misses the first. Payton has committed his third foul. The Lakers have committed 18 fouls, and the Pistons only 8. 20-second timeout, Los Angeles. With Detroit up 41-36.
When's the last time Shaq shot the ball? Do we know that? Oh, wow, that's good.
Yeah.
You see Shaq?
Oh, yeah. 41-36, Detroit leading the Lakers by 5 with 48.7 seconds remaining in the first half. Wallace to shoot the second of 2 at the free throw line.
Shaq was quite hot during that break.
Shaq is hot, there's no question. Wallace misses both. Fox gets the rebound. Momentum key going to the half, and right now Detroit has it all. Lakers trying to shave the lead. Payton has to come out to Fox. But the Lakers just look disorganized on offense. Fox saves it. 1 on the timer. Bryant from the corner. Oh, boy, you talk about a big 3.
Wow.
I mean, they're throwing the ball all over the place, and then Bryant gets free from the corner.
You know, they basically are not guarding Karl Malone right now. Rasheed Wallace just stood in Shaq's lap. Why his man has the ball? He didn't care. And they really were lucky on that possession. That's a big 3, though, Al.
One reason, of course, the Lakers look disorganized is that Piston defense. That was the first 3-pointer of the game. Here's Wallace trying to make the second and can't. And the Lakers are able to make it a 2-point game at the half. So a seesaw game, a lot of lead changes. O'Neal with 17 points. Bryant gets hot at the end at a vital time. Chauncey Billups leading Detroit in scoring with 11. They've been very balanced tonight. And in Game 4, with Detroit leading 2-1 at halftime, the Detroit Pistons lead the Los Angeles Lakers 41-39. Here's Stewart.
Chauncey Billups, you guys are up by 2 and shooting less than 35%. If I had told you that before the game, what would you have said?
That we're going to be in trouble if we don't shoot a good percentage because, they're forcing it down to Shaq. Kobe's starting to hit some shots, but, we'll be fine. We're just not getting the ball from side to side like we need to.
Coach Brown always talks about getting the ball from side to side. What exactly does that mean?
Well, I mean, they're a good defensive team when you keep the ball on one side of the floor, but the more passes you make, if you get it from one side to the other side, their defense breaks down a little bit and, their athleticism starts to show. Is it showing now? Nah, they're making a run. They got back in the game, with some big shots and some last-second shots on the shot clock, but, we gotta get a little more aggressive.
All right, Chauncey, I appreciate it, man. Good luck in the second half. Al?
Doc and Al, you talked about it. He said Shaq's doing the things we're asking him to do. Other guys aren't making the reads, and they're not getting him the ball, and that's what he's getting frustrated over. Doc, Al?
All right, thank you, Michelle. 41-39, Detroit. So the same guys that started the first half start the second, and O'Neal starts with a dunk to tie the game. And we mentioned before, when it's starter against starter, head-to-head, mano-a-mano, in this series, the Pistons have totally dominated the Lakers.
Well, not tonight. And I tell you, Ben Wallace is a strong guy. And right now, Shaq's making him look almost like a kid. That last time, Shaquille O'Neal grabbed the ball, backed it up, and look at Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace is a strong man. He's doing everything he can, and the next thing you know, he's up under the basket. That tells you how strong Shaquille O'Neal is.
Lakers can take the ball away. We're talking about starter on starter, but tonight it's not applicable because Devin George had those 2 fouls early in the game. So starter against starter have faced each other only 90 seconds. But here they are again, the primary 5 for each team. Malone.
See, Rasheed Wallace is basically not guarding Karl Malone. And if Karl Malone is not going to take that shot, then he's not going to be able to play in this game.
And the Pistons, of course, with a great defense. The Lakers almost with a 24-second violation, having to force a shot at the end. Prince will drive, softly puts it in. Even his layups are so graceful. I mean, he just glides around the court.
He's one of those players that looks like he's not moving that fast or working that hard, but he really is.
George inside to O'Neal. Over Rasheed this time. Doesn't go. Battle on the boards. Lakers have it. Malone goes right back to O'Neal. A wraparound lay-in to tie it at 43.
Wow.
How do you stop an 18-wheeler rolling down a highway?
I don't know. I don't think you do. They have those runaway ramps. Maybe they can put that in.
That's it. Full of gravel and sand. Three on the timer. Billups at the horn, got it.
That was a perfect Larry Brown executed play because they used the entire clock. The ball went from side to side. Everyone touched it, and they got a shot with 1 second on the clock. That's exactly what Larry Brown wanted.
And that's why Jackson bowed his head. Lakers played good defense. Pistons ate the clock, scored at the end. From the corner, three-pointer for Devin George. Devin George, who had no field goals in the first half, had 2 free throws. That's his first field goal of the game, and it gives the Lakers the lead by 1. Wallace works on Malone. And Malone gets called for the foul. That'll be his second. The Lakers have 2 guys with 3. Payton and Fisher, 2 guards. The Pistons have only 8 fouls in the game, and there's only 1 Piston with more than 1, and that's Billups, who has 2. And Billups dishes it off for Wallace when it looked like Billups could have gone all the way in, and Ben gets fouled.
Let's see, that's a good foul. You know, number 1, he's shooting. He's in the act of shooting. Number 2 is Ben Wallace. And if he splits these free throws, that 1 point could be huge later. Now, one of the things Gary Payton has to do, and he did it in the first half, he made some moves outside of the triangle where he just attacked the basket and got to the basket. I think this is a game that Gary has to impose his will on. Now, he's not going to be a dominant player because he's not a dominant player on this team. But when he does that, he gives them something extra. I think it's really tough for him to fight through it, but I think he has to.
He played his best first half, certainly best first quarter of the series. He has 6 points in the game. So Wallace misses the first. Ben at the free throw line tonight is 3 out of 9. And now O'Neal gets the rebound, and for Shaquille O'Neal, that's 13. 13 of the Lakers' 24. Payton off a Malone screen. Into Kobe, too hard, and off Kobe's hands.
Karl Malone is going to have to look at the basket because right now Rasheed Wallace is not even guarding him.
And the follow is there after the Prince miss. Rasheed Wallace puts it back in. Rasheed Wallace with 11 points. Phillips leads them in scoring with 13. O'Neal working on Wallace. Short. Wallace backs it to the other Wallace. And then Hamilton has it, but Hamilton may have stepped on the sideline, and he did, with Devin George right over there. So the Lakers will inbound with Detroit leading by a point. Four minutes into the third period. Game 4. Malone, well, he's going to pass that shot up again. Now Bryant. Bryant gets it back. Off balance.
Look at the traffic.
2-0 break. Automatic for Phillips.
3 players ran at Kobe Bryant when he put the ball on the floor. The Detroit Pistons have decided they're going to employ the Kobe rules. They are not going to let him have a free shot.
And Kobe has responded in these 2 games by going 7 out of 29 as the Pistons start with full court pressure. Medvedenko is in. Now Gary Payton guarded by Chauncey Billups. Prince stays on Bryant. Medvedenko. Well, even Medvedenko's passing up open shots, and that's going to put Bryant in a bind, and he'll have to launch a prayer. And he does. And you know the Lakers are completely out of sync because Medvedenko doesn't ever pass up a shot like that.
No. He's stiff, Al. I think that's what it was. But again, Kobe Bryant has made 2 amazing shots, and both of them have been huge shots.
Tremendous. Underneath, and we got away from the ball. A foul. Won't count.
Out of the timeout, lobs. Larry Brown out of timeouts, back cuts, and lobs. And they're calling a foul on the picker on Rip Hamilton.
That's Hamilton's second. Done up to the halfway mark of the third period. The game tied at 49. Bryant, turnaround. Missing here, Rasheed Wallace off the glass.
See, now you can see what Kobe's trying to do is go quick before help can come, but that's not the rhythm that he wants to shoot the ball at.
Try to lob it into Rasheed Wallace, then followed. Bryant starts back for the Lakers. Ben Wallace fronting Shaquille.
3 seconds on Shaquille O'Neal.
3 seconds because Wallace was fronting him. O'Neal was in the paint.
Sometimes your feet are so big that you don't know you're in the lane. I think Shaq actually thought he had pushed Wallace out of the lane. Didn't realize that the back of his foot was still in the paint.
Needed a global positioning device.
Yes.
Going to the floor, and that'll be traveling because he held on to the ball. Billups, who's a little slow in getting up. Maybe just taking a breather.
Yeah, but listen to the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, Chauncey Billups last year in the playoffs sprained his ankle. And from that point on, he was never effective again. These fans know that. That's why it got so quiet in this arena when he went to the floor.
So he gets up, and as we mentioned before, at this point in the fourth game of the series, Phillips would be the primary candidate, I would think, Doc, for MVP.
Yeah, no doubt.
Into O'Neal. Hamilton is on him, but then he gives it to Medvedenko, and he's short. Gets his own rebound and gets fouled on what the Pistons think is a jump ball by Wallace. And then Wallace and Medvedenko start to jostle.
You know, and I hate to say this, Al, but if I'm the Lakers, I don't separate. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Really
of course. You make it, it's like making a trade. You want to make a trade? Yeah. You want Medvedenko? Sure. We'll take him out. You take Wallace out.
Absolutely. You know when you were a little kid and you kind of pushed the guy into the other guy? I would have pushed him into Wallace instead of separating, because that's a great trade for you if you're the Lakers. Just a bunch of talking, you know. Unless you're in football, usually, and even those fights, they have helmets on. It's usually just a bunch of talking.
Little Ukrainian thrown in there.
Yes.
Slava goes to the free throw line. Game tied at 49, 5.5 to play in the third period.
I would like to say great job of not, with the officials, not getting involved themselves and calling techs or anything like that. They separated them, and now they're back to playing basketball. I've always liked that. They called a double tech on both of the guys, but they didn't go through the whole theatrics of, you know, stopping the game. I like that. It's good. Just move on.
Rick Fox comes in. Devin George goes out. He makes one of two, and the Laker lead is 1 point. Phillips looking inside to Rasheed Wallace. Medvedenko guarding him. Puts it in.
I love that. I love what Larry Brown just did. Rasheed Wallace got into it with Medvedenko, and Larry Brown said, okay, if you're going to get tough with him, then we're going to give you the ball down on the post, and Rasheed Wallace responded by scoring.
He pays off. 1 point. Piston lead, 5 to play. Medvedenko is open, takes it this time. In and out. Phillips gets the rebound. Up ahead to Tayshaun Prince. Hamilton.
Right back to Wallace.
They do it again. Rasheed and Medvedenko, and that time he puts it in. It counts off the glass, and he's fouled.
You know, there's an old saying, sometimes you should let sleeping dogs lie. Rasheed Wallace has been quiet since the first quarter. Medvedenko comes in, gets him excited. Now he scored the last 2 buckets, and he has a chance here to get a three-point play.
Got the ball back in his fingers after it started to slip away to make it off the glass, and a chance to make it a 4-point game.
You talk about little adjustments at halftime. The adjustment that the Detroit Pistons have made, they've decided they're not going to guard the 4 position on the Laker team. They're going to use him instead to sag back in Jack's lap and make it a tough catch.
You saw Malone on the bench, who'd normally be in there guarding him. Medvedenko.
Look at Wallace.
Medvedenko again. Whoa, not even close. Now it's a 2-on-1 with Bryant on the defending end, and that's enough to stop it as O'Neal gets the rebound.
Yeah, Wallace was so concerned about the charging foul, he missed the shot.
Into Fox. Payton. And Bryant underneath. Travel. 4 minutes, 2 seconds remaining. Third quarter in Detroit. Game 4. Pistons trying to go up 3-1. The game's been close all the way. Shaq red hot early as 21. Rasheed Wallace has gotten hot late. He's their leading scorer with 16 points. Game 5, we're certain he's here on Tuesday. Will the series go back to LA for a Game 6 on Thursday? The Lakers can cement that with a win here tonight, or Detroit can put itself in position to win the NBA title at home on Tuesday night. Wallace backs Medvedenko in and then misses, and O'Neal high in the air for his 16th rebound.
Shaq has not touched the ball in a while.
Here he goes. 3 guys on him, touched it and scores it.
I mean, you got to go to him, man. I think the Lakers go these stretches by trying to move the ball, and sometimes they forget about the big fella. There has been no answer for him tonight. He's the only constant offensively for the Lakers.
But what would it mean to him? He's 40 years old now. Obviously, he's been injured quite a bit. You talked to him. What would it mean to him to win before he's done?
I mean, it'll mean a lot to him. He is, you know, this is really what he wants before he's done. And you know, it really just hurts me to see him out there in pain like that. But still, he's still trying to go and get his championship before he finishes.
He's a warrior playing through a lot of pain. Thank you, Cheryl Ford. Al, back to you.
Thank you. And the reason, of course, Medvedenko's guarding Wallace is because Carl is on the bench, and the foul here is called on Eldon Campbell as O'Neal got the rebound.
And more importantly, you look at the foul situation right now, the Lakers have not been in penalty. They've done a much better job of staying out of foul trouble. So now the Pistons are going to have to score points through their offense, which tonight both teams have struggled doing.
Luke Walton now comes in, and Wallace, Rasheed, that is, will guard him. Medvedenko comes out.
He's come in. The reason they brought in Luke Walton is so now Rasheed Wallace can't help off a shot. And that's why they brought him in, because Luke Walton will take a shot.
Terrible shot by Kobe, but O'Neal is out to get the rebound, and then Payton drives, and Gary puts it in on the layup to make it a 54-54 game with 2:40 to go in the third.
See, that's what Gary Payton has to do. Broken plays, play your game.
Payton with 8 points tonight, his best output in this series. And then Payton knocks it into the corner, and that creates the Lakers steal. Brian Scott Walton with him, and Kobe for the jam to give the Lakers the lead. And Larry Brown up and fretting. 6-0 Laker run.
He's concerned about their offensive execution right now. They're not in penalties. The Lakers have come and played defense this evening so far throughout the game. That's what Larry Brown is concerned about.
Foul on Brian here. That's Kobe's second.
I mean, anytime Kobe Bryant right now can get an open shot, it's a good thing for the Lakers. It's really dangerous when you give scorers shots. One thing can get them going. You know, in Rasheed Wallace's case, he gets hooked up with Medvedenko. He starts to score. Kobe Bryant gets a steal. Now he might get going.
O'Neal comes out. And it's a double dribble, and the Lakers will inbound the ball.
You know, you watch Detroit's offense tonight, and you're going to hear Larry Brown talk about it later. I will guarantee you that it's too much dribbling. They only had 5 assists at halftime. For a Larry Brown team, that's not good enough.
And they have 4 more here in the third period, a total of 9. The Lakers have 19. Here's Walton, spots up in the corner. In and out. Fox battles for the rebound. Can't get it. Phillips does.
I've never liked that shot, Al. Luke Walton had a wide open 2. He was so concerned about finding the 3-point line instead of just taking the 2 that I think it throws you off.
Hamilton beats Payton again. They draw Shaq outside, and then one-on-one, it's the same thing we've seen for 4 games.
Attacking the basket. And that's what Shaq is saying. That's why I don't come out.
Bryant to Fox in the corner. Rick from way outside. And the rebound to Prince.
Kobe Bryant right now has decided they're guarding me. I'm going to get everybody else shots. But right now, no one's making those shots.
Walton gets the rebound off the Hamilton miss. Final minute, third quarter. Tight game all the way. Largest lead of the game was a 5-point Piston margin late in the first half. Payton open. Out of bounds. Off the Lakers last. So now Detroit. Ben Wallace comes in. And Mike James comes in. This is where Larry Brown likes to bring James into the game. The Lakers will get Medvedenko into the game.
And this is where Larry Brown is going to give Shaquille O'Neal some rest. Now, it'll only say 35 seconds on the clock, But in actuality, it'll be around 3 minutes of rest that Shaq gets to sit on the bench.
First rest for Shaq. And the Pistons give it up, and the Lakers can play for the last shot or close to it with about a 2-second differential. Pistons led by 2 at the half.
Pistons have a foul to give.
Payton. Medvedenko will drive, throws up a wild one that doesn't go, and then Campbell drops the ball out of bounds. They still have that foul to give with 3.9 seconds.
And I thought Larry Brown right there was going to lose his mind because you could see him saying, use it, and they did use it and almost gave up the layup.
Now they can use it.
Now it's tough to use it because if a guy catches and shoots it and you try to foul him, you could be giving up a 3-point play.
Or a 4-point play. And that's one of the considerations he made the other night when everybody with 20/20 hindsight was saying you should have fouled. Here's Payton missing. And that's the end of the third quarter.
Also, you look at Kobe Bryant, who is struggling now. And it's amazing how dependent you are on your teammates. Kobe Bryant is struggling because his teammates aren't making shots, and that allows Detroit to help out on Kobe Bryant. And he'll continue to struggle until somebody else makes shots.
It is Piston basketball. Teams averaging a tick under 19 points per quarter through 3. Shot clock at 7 as Prince starts in. And misses here. And Derek Fisher goes to the floor, has the rebound, and the Lakers maintain possession. This period starts with Walton, Fisher, and Fox in with Kobe and Shaq for LA. It's Eldon Campbell who helps to reject it, and here comes Hamilton with Ben Wallace on the other side making a 12-footer.
But once again, they are making Kobe Bryant give it up. Hell, he's doing the right thing. He's giving the ball up, but the others can't make shots.
The Diesel comes in and misses, and Prince gets the rebound.
The Lakers better be very careful right now in this stretch.
Walton guards Hamilton. Now Ben Wallace, 6 on the 24. Hamilton gets it up and makes it. Long 2 for Hamilton. Jackson has to take a timeout before it gets away. Full court pressure. Gary Payton gets the ball into the front court. Walton drives. Couldn't get it to O'Neal underneath. Bryant slithers through and banks it in.
Slithers through one guy, 2 other guys was running, and he had the ability to score.
Bryant has 14 points, but he's 6 out of 20 from the field. Ben Wallace, and he got tugged by Walton, and there's the foul.
But good foul. You know, instead of letting the guy get a dunk, you grab him and you take the bucket away. Little plays like this save games. This is a dunk if Luke Walton doesn't grab him. Instead now, the Pistons have to take the ball out of bounds.
Rasheed Wallace comes in. Campbell goes out. That's the Lakers' 23rd foul tonight. The Pistons with only 11. Phillips from outside. O'Neal gets the rebound. 18 rebounds for Shaq. Meanwhile, the Pistons from outside 0 for 7 on 3-pointers. Under 10 to play. Walton to Payton. 6 on the 24. Walton to the corner. Bryant.
Another tough shot. Another tough shot. That's where someone else is going to have to make it.
Oh, baby, and the house erupts on the lob to Rasheed Wallace. And the Lakers have to take another timeout. It's a 20.
I love this timeout because what Phil Jackson is trying to do is keep the crowd out. That's too late. But keep the Pistons down, not get them too excited, and not let them stretch. I mean, these are tough shots. I mean, look where they're giving the ball to Kobe Bryant. There's 1 second on the shot clock, or 3, and he has to throw up a wild shot. And what that leads to is fast break Piston basketball. Every long shot, the Pistons are scoring 2 ways this evening. Fast break points and the foul line.
And of course, they're playing defense in every sport. Football, baseball pitching, hockey goaltending, defense, defense, defense.
Yeah. Defense wins in every sport.
Lob into Shaquille. It was almost stolen, and Wallace says, "Ah, man, I almost got that one."
What is it, Dwight Clark? Is that the guy who made the great catch for the 49ers?
From Joe Montana.
That was an unbelievable catch by Shaq right there. Unbelievable.
Phillips. Now Prince will go for a 3. And there's a battle between Ben Wallace and Walton, and they're going to call a foul. The Laker bench erupted, but they're going to call, well, what, a double?
Yeah, they're going to call a double foul. And what Phil Jackson is upset over is because it is a double foul. I thought that was a good call because I thought both guys were grabbing each other. I thought it was an excellent call. That's one of those calls you can't call one way and not the other way.
Lakers inbound, 8.5 to go in the 4th. And Walton tries to give it away, and the Lakers turn it over.
The Lakers are forgetting about the biggest human being in this building. They have to get this ball back to Shaquille O'Neal if they want to win this game. And the Pistons have to execute better offensively if they want to win.
That foul was the 5th on Walton. This one's on Fisher.
So that's the second team foul for the Lakers to 0 for the Pistons. Big number because the Lakers have been in foul trouble early in every quarter for the most part in this series.
Fisher 4 fouls. 2-point Detroit lead. Phillips. Hamilton works into Big Ben. O'Neal comes in to try to stop it and commits the foul. It didn't go, but to the line goes Big Ben. On O'Neal, number 2. 3rd on the Lakers now in the first 4 minutes.
They're 2 fouls away, Al, from being in penalty the rest of this game.
Wallace to the line. Here's Michelle.
Al, the Lakers swagger that this team possessed coming into the finals is not evident on the LA bench right now. There seems to be apprehension coupled with concentration, and I'll tell you, the look in Phil Jackson's eyes is one you do not see very often. None of the Lakers was willing to call tonight a must-win situation. Phil Jackson said before the game, we're going to be okay. We just need to extend the series. But, Al, if they don't do it tonight, they absolutely have to do it Tuesday.
And Wallace gets the miss and puts it back in. And that equals the biggest lead of the game. And Payton just barely gets the ball across the line. They work it into Shaquille. He'll go to the line. Missed the shot, gets 2.
Every time they've needed a run stop, they've gone into Shaquille O'Neal. Every time they forget about going to Shaquille O'Neal, the Detroit Pistons make a run. I mean, this is a huge miss. You got to anticipate that Ben Wallace is going to miss this free throw. Derek Fisher was late trying to block out the shooter, and that leads to 2 more points.
O'Neal is 1 out of 5 tonight. Shaquille O'Neal, 25 points, make it 26 now on that shot. Bryant's going to come out for a brief rest.
Yeah.
Devin George will come back in. Again, the Lakers tonight only 2 guys in double digits, O'Neal and Bryant. Payton at 6 in the first quarter, but only 8 in the game. And Shaquille makes 2 very clutch free throws.
Very big free throws. And right now, the game is on the balance. It's only a 3-point game. Those 2 free throws are huge for the Lakers.
Wallace won't pass up a 17-footer. Can't get the bounce. And O'Neal is there for the rebound as Rasheed Wallace goes down hard. They're working into the corner. And Devin George throws it up to try to get fouled in the act of shooting and does.
I was talking to Jim Clemens before the game. And one of the things he's been most upset with Devin George about is that he is not driving the ball. He only settles for 3. That's a great example of what he was talking about. They swung it to George. Guys are running out to him. Instead of settling for the 3, he put the ball on the ground, drove to the basket, and now he's on the foul line.
This is the first Devin George tonight. 2 out of 3 from the line. You can help vote for the MVP of the NBA Finals. There's the information right there on your screen. Verizon Wireless.
Well, maybe that's why he doesn't run the ball. And Shaq makes 2. Devin George misses 2.
Hamilton. Wallace. Rasheed Wallace. 67-62. O'Neal. It counts and he's fouled.
Al, when he makes moves that quick, it's impossible to stop him. Impossible. What you try to do is not foul him when he's making it. I mean, this is an excellent move. This is not a power move. This is a quick spin move by a power player.
Sense of urgency is the most overworked cliche in sports today. But it's appropriate for this guy tonight. He senses it. He knows it. We have a lane violation here on Hamilton. He'll get another shot. But if ever a guy knows what this game is and what this win would mean or a loss would mean here, it is number 34.
It's no doubt, Al. And they talk about leadership. This is leadership by the way he's playing.
Misses the second opportunity. It's a 3-point game. Bryant still on the bench. Phillips will put it up from outside. 3-pointer.
Every time they go under on pick and rolls with Chauncey Phillips, he makes them pay.
That's the first Detroit 3 in the game. Biggest lead of the game. Shaquille again. Foul. Foul on Rasheed Wallace. 4th team foul. 4 fouls on Rasheed Wallace.
1 technical foul.
70-65. Stuart Scott.
Al, you saw Rasheed complaining about that foul. You know he's been like the poster boy for technical fouls in the NBA the last few years. He calls it passion. His coach, Larry Brown, says Rasheed is the most misunderstood man I've ever met. He says all he wants to do is win. Larry Brown even said, there are times I act kind of stupid out there. He said, but whenever you see Rasheed doing it, it's just because he wants to win so badly. Right now, what you see is Rasheed wanting to win so badly, Al.
You know, Stewart makes a great point. I mean, Rasheed Wallace obviously at times crosses the line, Al, but you look at a guy with passion. Give me 12 guys with passion over 12 guys with no passion all day. You know, the old saying is, I'd rather kindle a fire than start a fire.
Been a choir boy in the playoffs with just 1 foul in postseason. You had a lane violation, and now you've got a loose ball foul on Walton. And that's it for Luke. That's his 6th. He's gone.
And you know, in most cases, this is not a big deal. But I got to tell you, in this game is huge. Because what Luke Walton did was he didn't allow the guy guarding him to help on Shaq. When he goes out, Phil Jackson has to make a choice who he's going to put in the game. And it's a tough choice.
Malone
Yeah, if you
played
put in
early.
Karl Malone, then what you're saying is Karl Malone, you're going to have to make shots. I think he should go real small, but I don't think he's going to do that.
No, he's going to go big with Medvedenko here. Meanwhile, Bryant is still in his warm-ups with 6:03 to play in the 4th. And now Kobe's going to come into the game.
Yeah, not a bad time, obviously. Kobe's had a rest now. He can come in fresh. He has to provide some offense, but again, it's very difficult because they're ganging up on him. Medvedenko, bottom line, with him in, he has to make open shots for the Lakers to stay in this game. But again, you still get the feel, Al, that the Detroit Pistons are dictating the pace of play.
Right from the start, the Lakers playing a lot better than they did the other night, but never in control of the pace of this game. Prince gives up the dribble, and then from way outside, that one doesn't go from Rasheed Wallace. Three of the big 4. Malone not in the game. Karl has played very little since the first quarter, and the Lakers have it. No team has ever come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the finals. Kobe Bryant back in the game, almost lost control, gives it to Shaq, he scores and gets fouled.
I tell you, the adjustment that Kobe Bryant has made is this. He's not really looking for his shots. He knows that everybody is coming to help on him. He's become the passer right now, almost the point guard for the Lakers.
Shaq trying to make it a 2-point game and can't. Ben Wallace skies for the rebound.
See, this is when you're going to see Shaq on the line more now. They saved all these fouls that Detroit Pistons have throughout this game, and they have all the bigs to use fouls. You're going to see Shaq on the line a bunch now.
Phillips from beyond the arc. 6-point game again. Chauncey Phillips. 21 for Phillips. His second 3-pointer. Fisher tries to answer. And a foul underneath, and the Lakers pushing off. Medvedenko.
This play was called by Rip Hamilton. Drawing attention, Kobe Bryant has to help. Frees up Phillips, bam, 3-point shot, big shot. And on the other end, Kobe Bryant comes off, draws help, throws it, missed shot. Pistons go to the foul line.
20-second timeout taken by Detroit. And that's the look of a coach and a superstar, knowing you've got 5 minutes left in a game that's not an elimination game. But boy, oh boy, oh boy.
It's close. And I'm going to tell you, Al, what that conversation was about. Kobe Bryant went to the huddle and said, listen, I'm doing what you're telling me to do. I'm moving the ball. They're not making the shot. Phil Jackson is trying to say, keep doing that. Kobe is thinking, at some point, I'm going to start forcing some shots. It'll be interesting how patient Kobe Bryant is in this last 5 minutes, or will he start trying to force the action?
And Bryant has had a cold hand tonight. He's 6 out of 21 from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point land. Rasheed Wallace at the line. He's made 4 of 4. Makes either, and the Pistons will have their biggest lead of the game. result, 75-67 Detroit. Under 5 to go. And Gary Payton makes contact and gets whistled.
That's what pressure defense will do to you. Rip Hamilton has been pestering him the whole quarter. And there you see a little chuck in the throat.
And another whistle as Bryant and Billups collide at midcourt.
The Lakers are starting to complain. They're starting to talk to officials, and they're going to start getting technical fouls very soon.
And there is one right there.
They are coming unraveled right now. And it has nothing to do with the officiation. It's more the Detroit Pistons pressure defense.
So Hamilton goes to the line. The call was on Bryant, the technical. There was also the foul on Payton. That's to come. That was the technical for Detroit now. 22 of 31. And Kobe Bryant, well, there's the technical foul. Of course, if you get two, you're done.
And he's working on it. I can tell you that. He is working on it.
Yeah, we were showing the replay, and I was looking at him thinking he may get teed up again. To double digits they go, 77-67. Bryant. Wallace comes all the way out to midcourt. And Bryant himself banks it in. Ooh.
Kobe Bryant wasn't giving that up. There were two guys guarding him, another guy spying on him, and he still gets to the bucket. That might be what he has to do, but I got to tell you, if you play the percentages of your Detroit Pistons, you like that.
All he could do to get it in. Perfect touch to softly bounce it in. 5 on the timer. Billups from way outside is short. Pistons. Prince gets the rebound to give him a fresh 24.
Quicker, longer, more athletic. That's why they keep attacking the boards and coming up with offensive boards.
And inside, the foul is called on O'Neal.
You know, one of the things they said they wanted to do was knock Rip Hamilton down. The problem is when you're down 8 points and in penalty, this is not the time to do it.
That to me is still, and that's been the story, one of the stories in this series, the total fouls. Larry Brown's so worried coming in about having to commit too many fouls to stop O'Neal.
Yeah, and it's been the exact other way around. I mean, it's amazing. The Lakers led the league in free throws attempted all year. And in this series, it's been all Detroit. And the reason it's been Detroit is because they're quicker to the ball, and they're quicker to the basket, and they've dominated the offensive boards. I don't think I've ever seen Phil Jackson thrown out of a game, but he is working on it tonight.
Well, maybe he'll get thrown out at the end if Detroit ices the game. Reminds me of the old Whitey Herzog line when he got thrown out of the 7th game of the '85 World Series. The reporter said after the game, Whitey, how does a manager get thrown out of the 7th game of the World Series? Herzog said, I've seen enough. Phil may be getting there. Medvedenko. Oh, and then O'Neal is there. Medvedenko's shot wouldn't have gone in.
It's still only an 8-point game after all this.
Hamilton stops in the lane. Gets the bounce.
Has it going. You know, it's funny. Kobe Bryant has guarded Rip all game. Done a nice job. Then Chauncey Billups gets going, so they put Kobe on Chauncey Billups. Now Rip Hamilton's got it going.
Bryant. Phillips gets the rebound. We're down to 3 minutes to go in the fourth game. And an offensive foul call well away from the ball. Karl Malone seated next to Kareem Rush there, and Malone hasn't played but 4 minutes here in the second half. Lakers down by 10. Whistle as O'Neal got it.
Well, this is one way you can get back in the game, by fouling with a team in the penalty away from the ball, and that foul was on Chauncey Billups.
That'll send Fisher to the free throw line. The Lakers are to the point where Brian Russell, so sparingly used, especially in the second half of the season and in the playoffs, that's Russell number 9, is in the game. Not for long. Medvedenko comes in.
Yeah, and I think what Phil Jackson wants to do is go offense-defense. And that time, obviously, offensively, they got to the free throw line. Now Medvedenko comes in to play defense.
With 2:45 left, Fisher makes 1 of 2, 81-72. Pistons have Rasheed Wallace with Prince, Hamilton, Ben Wallace, and Phillips on the floor right now. Hamilton. 5 on the timer. Here's Rasheed against Medvedenko again. Whoa! Wow. They're revisiting that little rivalry that developed in the third quarter, with Wallace delivering a knockout punch. Foul on Hamilton.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, they're going to call this one on Prince. On Prince, his second foul.
Yeah, and this shot here might have been the dagger for tonight.
Well, talking about this little skirmish between the two, and the upper hand clearly held by Rasheed Wallace, who's had a big second half.
Well, Al, you know, as a coach, the one thing a coach hates to see is one of your role players getting tangled up with one of your stars if you don't get that star thrown out of the game. Because now what you've done is agitated a star or a guy capable of having a big game. And that's what Rasheed Wallace has done since that altercation.
They called a double technical, both staying in the game. And a foul here, and Devin George tried to steal, but made contact on the foul line. Fourth foul on Devin George.
I've never seen the Lakers complain this much. I'm looking at Phil Jackson right now complaining about calls. He's been talking about calls the entire game. Kobe Bryant has done it. Karl Malone has done it. You know, the only quiet guy tonight for the Lakers has been Shaq. He's the only guy that's played basketball.
Well, Phil's done it. I mean, Phil has, in his entire career, he knows how to work and manipulate, and you go through the media and you say certain things. I did find it a little odd that down 2 games to 1, he would start moaning about the refereeing yesterday.
Well, I didn't, because I kind of had the assumption he would, because you have to go to every card you have when you're down 2-1. We have to remember, Phil Jackson has never been down 2-1 in the finals.
He has not. Little hook from the lane there, but isn't the reverse side of that, Doc? You flip the guys off in the striped shirts?
Oh, no doubt. And you give your other players, the players on your team, an out. And their out has been complaining to the officials instead of playing.
84-76. Billups saying clock. We'll use the clock. Here's Prince trying to get free. Softly. Oh, and then the follow, but it will not count. Ben Wallace, they ring the chime, but they have to take it back because he got into the cylinder. Minute and a half to go, 84-76.
Yeah, they're going to have to reset Big Ben on that one because you can see, pretty easy call.
Peyton inbounding out of Fisher in backcourt.
I know it's only 1:30 left, but you never are out of it in a basketball game.
Well, the Lakers were down by 6 with 36 ticks the other night, and you know what happened. And here's Bryant making it a 6-point game with $1:18 to go. You have 8 seconds to get it across the line, and they do.
You know, it's interesting. Everyone talks about hack a shot. You know, maybe they should have whacked the Ben Wallace.
I was thinking, you know? Number 3, he's the guy. Instead, it's Rashid, and that should be the dagger.
He's throwing them, that's for sure. Well, I tell you, they've been terrific throughout. This entire series thus far has been played on the Pistons' terms. And their defense, you know, the Eastern Conference Finals, at the very end of the Eastern Conference Finals, all the questions is ugly offense, bad offense, bad offense. I think you're looking at the Lakers with 78 points with a minute left, and you're finding out great defense.
Kobe missed the 3. Payton looking around. Kobe all the way, has it stripped in the lane. And they'll be raucous to the end at the Palace. Rashid. He's human. But Ben is there, and then he gets fouled on the way in.
More athletic, quicker, longer, better reactions.
And very resolute. And I keep thinking back to the other night when if ever a team was set up to be so decimated by a loss, it would be the Pistons. Losing that game that they should have won in LA, coming in here and never trailing and getting off to an 8-0 lead and winning by 20 and making the Lakers look like a 4th-place team in the Atlantic Division.
Well, I think what is happening right now is, now a lot of people are saying the East Coast is pretty good. The Eastern Conference is pretty good.
That from the new coach of the Boston Celtics. No team has ever come from down 3-1 in baseball, by the way. There have been 5 teams. Fisher misses. 5 teams have won the World Series after trailing 3 games to 1.
And having said all that, it's 3 games left. Possible. 2 of them are in LA. Possible. The Pistons, in my opinion, still must win all 3 at home. They do not want to go back to LA. The great thing for the Pistons is they're going to have that opportunity.
Well, the Lakers will go back to Los Angeles after the 5th game. The question is, will they take the Pistons with them? Or will Southeast Michigan rock into a long and jubilant night?
Right now, with the way this series has been played, there's nothing that looks like that's going to change. But we have the Lakers involved. The drama team of drama teams that I've ever seen ever in my life. And if anyone can do it, I guess you would have to say it would be them.
The whole complexion obviously would change if they win a 5th game. But boy, oh boy, the Pistons are on fire. 32 points in the 4th quarter for Detroit. O'Neal will end it with a meaningless lay-in to cap for him a 20-rebound and 36-point night. But the Pistons have set up a situation where they can win it and win it at home on Tuesday. Detroit 80. 88. Los Angeles 80 in the 4th game. And were it not for a little divine intervention on Tuesday, in LA. This one could have been a Detroit sweep. Here's Stuart.
I got the Wallace brothers here. They're not brothers, but they're brothers if you know what I mean. Ben Wallace, Shaq had a real huge night. What can you do to even try and slow that guy down?
We did a lot of things. You know, we tried to play behind him and force him off the block. That didn't work. We tried to front him. They threw it over the top. But all you can do is just fight him and keep a body on him.
In game 2, you guys were up late. They came back. Were you thinking anything different this game?
We just wanted to stay focused, continue to execute our sets, continue to work hard on the defensive end, make them shoot over the top, and we'll live with what happened.
All right, man, nice game. Rasheed Wallace, he had 3 points the last game. Came out with 26. What was different about your game?
Just making shots tonight. You know, just that's what they gave me. You know, the first couple games they was double teaming or whatever, so I just passed the ball, simple basketball. But you know, tonight, I guess it was just my night.
Second half, you got into it with Slava Medvedenko. How did that start?
No, just elbows being thrown, so supposed to me throwing the elbow back just hurt him the other way.
Looked like you tried to pat him on the rear end to say no bad on that foul. That's how it started.
No, I would just tell him don't throw them elbows. You know, we could go out here and play physical, play good basketball without having to be dirty and throw elbows, but I can play like that if they want me to.
All right, Cheetah, I appreciate it. Nice game. Al, let's go back to you.